Halo semuanya, halo, kembali lagi. Ini hari ini kita ini kali ini sharing satu aku apa ya? Habis sekarang aku nyari game lagi. Aku mau ini ter eh, karena aku tulis game per ada di hari ini. Non itu tuh. Karya Deret, deret. Discord temanku kosong tapi online semua tuh orang-orangnya. Maaf nih. Oke, langsung aja kita lanjut. Langsung saja kita lanjut. Kita lanjut untuk lanjutkan dulu. Ethos, I love the Ubohoth, and we will continue at day 7. Oh, Julai 27, 2024. When I came to, I was standing in the darkness. There was nothing around me. Just an expensive void. Suddenly, Otaru appeared before me. She wore a smile as she turned to ask me a question. If you were to choose one of us today, who would you choose? Me or Hatsu? I hesitated for a moment before deciding to answer honestly. Ya, kowe lah, gimana? I would choose you. Hey, I'm sure you just think that you big liar. Wataru was grinning, a teasing tone in her voice. Her smile shone brightly in the empty darkness. Empty void seemed to gently pulse. Then Hotaru's form began gradually moving away from me. Grew increasingly afraid that if I didn't stop her, he might disappear completely. Yep, kita pasti Hotaru lah. Walaupun tubuhnya sakit-sakitan, yang penting dia bisa masak. Iya, Hatsumi tuh bestie. Soalnya Hatsumi tuh bestie. I opened my eyes. What a stranger. I went, and when I woke up from my dream, it was still dark outside. I pulled the blanket up, hoping to go back to sleep, but was overcome with sudden feeling of nausea. I grew dizzy as the room began to spin, and even more intense hunger took hold of me. My mind was chaos, everything blurring together. Dan kambuhku kembali. I threw myself out of bed and stumbled my way up into the hallway. Covering my mouth, somehow I managed to make it to the bathroom before I start vomiting and convulsing. Every time I vomit, the sight of the grey water filling the toilet was burned into my eyes. The nausea showed no sign of subsiding, instead growing increasingly intense. My body felt exhausted, and my consciousness began to faint. Grow faint. I had the sensation of something rampaging within me, and it wouldn't stop. At breakfast, I met Reiji and Hatsumi in the main hall. After vomiting for some time, my condition had finally begun to slowly recover. I thought I would been released from my curse yesterday. It all been a delusion brought on my fatigue. I wonder if finally getting some rest had allowed my curse to recover and awaken it from its slumber as well. I told Reiji and Hatsumi about vomiting up the grey water earlier that morning. Clearly, my curse had not yet been lifted. A heavy silence hung in the air.
お待たせ。今日は冷やしうどんとナスの揚げ浸しとあとお豆腐だよ。
Breakfast is served. Today we have chilled udon with fried eggplant and tofu. Tempura and tofu. Hotaru's entrance seemed to tear through the tension as she carried our breakfast into the room.
ありがとう。今日も美味しそう。
Oh, thanks. Wow, this is delicious.
いやー、俺ナスの揚げ浸し好きなんだよな。
Awesome. I love tempura. Hatsume and Reiji both put on a cheerful face. I hadn't told Hotaru that my curse wasn't broken yet. My nausea hadn't quite faded, so it didn't have much of an appetite, but I couldn't refuse Hotaru food after she gone to the trouble of preparing it. I picked up my chopstick.
おはよ
おはようございま
おじさん、
す。
おはようございます。
Good morning.
う。おはようございます。
おはよう。
あれ、ケイユさん、それどうしたんすか？
What happened? His right hand was wrapped in a bandage. Had he been injured somehow?
ああ、これは境内を掃除中に木の枝で切ってしまってね。
Oh, just a
それより
cut
ホタル、
from cleaning
体は大
fallen
丈夫なのかい？
limbs on the ground. What about you, Hotaru? Are you feeling okay? Jangan, 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 jangan. Jangan, jangan. Me, I'm fine. Why?
朝食を終えたらもう
Once we
休
are
んでなさ
finished with
い。
breakfast,
後
you
片付け
should
は
ask
私がや
for
っておく
today.
から。
I'll finish tidying up outside.
片付けくらいできるよ。心配しすぎだってば。
I can handle a little cleaning. I keep telling you not to worry much. Hotaru stormed off toward the kitchen. She was likely sick of listening to her nagging father.
後で部屋に来なさい。
Come see me later.
ごめんね、食事中に。
I apologize for
ごゆっくり
disturbing
どう
your
ぞ。
meal.
いえ。
No, it's not. It's all right. Keiyu turned and left the hall. He seemed unusual worried about his daughter. Had something happened? In the end, I was barely able to eat any breakfast. I felt bad leaving so much uneaten, but Hatsumi had taken care of that problem for me. You were able to stop the Ubosek ritual in the dream realm, right? Which mean you prevent Ubohoth revivals, yes? That's right.
もう。
Then, shouldn't the curse be gone too? Na na na. A heavier silence followed. Maybe it would be a good idea to go over everything again for any clues on why the curse hadn't been lifted. According to Yukitsune, stopping the Ubosek ritual and preventing Ubohoth revival would have also removed my curse. But he hadn't explained one thing. Why had Hotaru been in the dream realm? Wait, what? I realized we hadn't fully explained to Hatsumi everything that happened. Hotaru had been lying on the altar in the dream realm, and Harasho had been transformed to mindless. Maybe I'm just imagining things, but that make it sound like they were offering a sacrifice. That's true, they were trying to sacrifice Hotaru. I don't know. It looked like they were treating Hotaru with extra care. Being a sacrifice would mean being offered Ubohoth, right? But she was being treated like a fragile object. That's the feeling I've gotten as well. The chained-up monster seemed more like a sacrifice to me. It never occurred to me that it might be Harasho. But why Harasho? Maybe because he is cursed. What do you mean? Well, the ritual was being done in the dream realm, which means any sacrifice would need to be taken with them in that world. Ordinarily, people outside the Ubosek are unable to travel there, but that's not true for the curse. Harasho even went on a rampage, proving that he was quite powerful. Yukitsune mentioned that Ubohoth need to consume those who possess strong spiritual energy. So, wouldn't that make Harasho an ideal sacrifice? His reasoning did make sense. Tapi yang di altar tuh, tapi kalau misalkan emang yang di altar itu Hotaru, berarti Hotarunya dong yang bakal jadi Ubohoth. Jadi nggak sih? Which mean that if I'd been captured by Ubohoth, I would likely have been the one getting sacrificed. Wait, wouldn't that mean the guy who offered us that water, the reason you were cursed in the first place, was to turn you into sacrifice? Considering everything we know now, that made sense. Information gathered. Arasho was a ritual sacrifice. Ubohoth was making curse to use as sacrifice. So, if Hotaru wasn't meant to be a sacrifice, then what was she doing in the dream realm? It seemed normal this morning, and we hadn't discussed the dream realm. I had no way to be certain, but I didn't think she'd been there of her own will. So you are saying you think someone summoned her to the dream realm? Yes, but I wasn't quite sure who. The most likely person would be the leader of the Ubohoth. The creepy group of the people in the dream realm had likely been the Ubohoth. The figure standing in front of Hotaru as she lay on the altar seemed like the Ubohoth's leader.
そうだ。
Yeah, I would bet money he was the one who brought her here. The question, who is the leader of the Ubohoth? Reggie trailed off, a grim look on his face. I want to confirm something first. Hotaru said that yesterday evening she fell asleep in her room for a while, right? Yeah, why? Which means that while we went to Mountain Town to get to the dream realm, Hotaru was here at Akhirnya temple. I mean the way they treat her. Iya sih. Kalau misalkan dia ditreat sebaik itu sama yang lain dan yang di hospital itu malah kabur, most likely ya Ubohothnya bisa jadi Hotaru. Unless she went somewhere without telling anyone, that would stand to reason. If the leader of the Ubohoth were to get close to Hotaru during that time, it is possible he could use magic or some kind of spell to send her to the dream realm. Are you saying someone snuck into the temple? I would think KU would notice. It's KU! Oh my god! It's not other people, it's KU! Let me ask one more thing then. You said you injured the leader during the fight, right? Where did you hurt him? It was his right hand. Wait. You both saw KU when he came into the room this morning, right? His right hand was wrapped in bandage, which means the leader of the Ubohoth was KU. No, it couldn't be. How else do you explain it? Information gathered. Arasho was a ritual set. The Ubohoth was making curse to use as sacrifice. Was it possible KU is the Ubohoth leader? Main problem. I was cursed with starvation. The cause is drinking the Ubo water from the cup of the at the temple. How to break the curse? I don't know. Who is behind the mask? Is it KU? We need to speak with KU. Maybe it would shed some light onto the curse had yet to be lifted. You wish to speak with me about something. I shivered from nervousness, despite the summer heat, and the heavy weight in my stomach wasn't from my curse. We have something to ask you, Cave. We conveyed everything we uncovered to him. Please answer us, Mr. Natsunak. Keiyu let out a deep sigh before nodding slowly. It's just as you say. I am the leader of the Ubohoth sect. Boom! Boom! Bam! Pop! Mana bop boom! Pow! That's Keiyu as leader in this one. Ya, ya sedikit lah. Plot twist karena ini kan, karena plot twistnya baru tadi tangannya ternyata ini kan, tangannya ternyata eh injured kan, di bandage. Nah, itu plot twist. Itu ya sedang lah. Plot twist sedang lah. Plot twist yang sedang. Lumayan lah, lumayan. You see, Hotaru was born with a frail body. The doctor warned me that she wouldn't live long, and so I should prepare for the worst. If anything, it's a miracle that she survived at the age of 8. Her condition took a turn for the worse of the day of the festival 8 years ago, and so she couldn't go. For that, her condition never improved. She died later at South. Ini plot twist. Ini plot twist. Ini baru plot twist. Ini baru plot twist. After that, her condition never improved. She died later that summer. That freaking summer, she died. Who the Hotaru is right now? Bro, like, what the hell? She managed to survive for 8 whole years. But perhaps it would have been better if she hadn't. Then I might been able to come to terms with it. But the 8 years I was able to spend with my daughter was too long just accept her death. Losing my wife was hard enough, but then to lose my daughter as well. My grief was so great that it felt as though I'd fallen into a deep abyss. It was then that I learned of the legend, the river's pilgrimage. By visiting the sacred sites in rivers, one could meet Kobodaishi, and he would grant you wish. Hoping against hope, I started my journey, and I met him. Actually met Kobodaishi. Kukai granted my wish and brought Hotaru back to life. Udah mati gua. Berarti MC-nya suka sama mayat. Ala hari-hari mayat. To me, she looked and acted the same as I remember. But even Kukai's power were not enough to bring someone back from the dead completely. She was told to be to the touch, had no pulse, and her body was even weaker than before. But even so, she was my beloved Hitoru. Keiyu's story was beyond anything I'd imagined, leaving me to surprise for words. Atsumi's eyes began to tear up. The news that Hotaru had died was probably more of a shock to her, Reiji or me. That is why I decided to call on the power of Ubohoth. If the gods return and bestows part of his power, Hotaru can become a real human. That is what the legends say. That is not. That is why I have been performing the ritual to resurrect Ubohoth. Turning around, we saw Hotaru standing in the doorway. Her face had gone pale. At her feet, broken dishes, and the food she would prepare for her father. For her father lies scattered on the floor. I was dead. Yeah, kue mayat. Oh, kue mayat. Her eyes were filled with shock and confusion. Hotaru. Hotaru slowly turned and dashed toward the door. Hotaru, we got up and ran after her. Along with Keiyu, we searched the temple ground and the surrounding area, but we didn't find her anywhere. No, it's no use. She's gone. I checked the road, but didn't see her there either. Considering her condition, it was hard to imagine she'd gotten very far. Meekly, Keiyu opened his mouth to speak. I know I have no right to ask this of you. But please, would you find her for me? Natsunagi. Atsumi must have been conflicted now that we knew Keiyu had been the mastermind behind everything. She didn't seem to know how to respond to him. We'll find her, but not because you are asking us to. Reggie was clearly holding back his anger, and I was no exception. I wasn't about to forgive his selfish plan. It was the reason I was cursed. But right now, finding Hotaru was more important. Dang, kinda remind me of the other game. The desire to bring the dead and else. Ya gitu lah ya, kalau udah menyangkut seseorang yang disayang. Mengingatkanku ngingetin gue sama karakter di LoL sih. Vigo mau ngebring back istrinya, cuma dia berhentiin sama Sentinel of Light dan di Seal. I just have a bad feeling about this. If anything were to happen to her, We arrive at the observation platform now. See if Hotaru was here. nearby, I saw a mermaid mailbox. It was said mermaid would deliver your feelings to those you love. This is where Hotaru mailed her letter, addressed to the wandering mailbox. I thought it was worth the checking. It was amazing view of the Seto inland sea. The observation platform was a popular spot. Today, however, there was nobody in sight, probably due to bad weather. Looking down the platform, I saw turbulent sea tinged gray. The strong wind carried a scent of salt. It's the middle of summer. How is it so cold? I don't know, it feels so strange with this strong wind and those dark clouds. Hotaru isn't here. I hope she's doing alright in this weather. Hey, look over there, it's Hotaru! Regis was pointing toward the ocean. Off the coast, we could see mermaid roads showing above the tide. Hotaru was walking along the sandbar alone, her back to us. The wind whipped at her hair and clothes, making it look as though she were the one parting the gray sea. Hey Hotaru, where are you going? The three of us tried yelling to her, but our shouts were swallowed by the wind and waves. As we watched, my anxiety grew with every step she took. We had to go after her. We researched enough, let's move somewhere else. Abu Harbor, the flashback plan. At first, Hotaru far from here, but was she here now? The ocean was angry waves battering the rocks. Their sharp crashes were like knives, cutting away the memories of how beautiful the island had been today. Somehow it felt like the island itself was screaming out of it. The surface of the ocean was murky gray as the rough waves felt the shore. The crashing wave and fierce wind pounded against my ears. The ferry was nowhere to be seen. It had probably been cancelled due to the weather. We arrived we arrived only 6 days ago, but it felt much longer than that. Where the heck is Hotaru go? It didn't look she was in the harbor. Hey, what's that? Reggie was pointing at the group of elderly people. Their gait was suspiciously unsteady. Alamak, Dreamwalker, Walawe. The group of elderly folks noticed us and began walking in our direction. Although they seemed shambling a moment ago, they closed the gap within human swiftness. They grabbed my arm with an unexpectedly firm grip. I had a hard time believing a normal person could be so strong, let alone an elderly one. Hey, get off me! Reggie forced his attackers off with all his strength.
マジかよ
You alright? These guys are dangerous. Let's get out of here. I couldn't help out, but the gray tinged ocean had the group of dreamwalkers as an ominous sign. Let's try visit site. Welcome to Yokai Museum. We appreciate you stopping by to visit today. Oh, unless I'm mistaken, I believe you three were here the other day. Yes, that was us. We are actually looking for someone. Reggie described Kotaro to the director. I'm sorry, I didn't believe I have seen anyone who matched that description. I see, thank you. Sorry to bother you. Since you've come all this way, would you like to come inside for a bit? In a building 2, we have an exhibit which details a story of possession passed down on an island. Possession? Oh, that does sound interesting. Atsumi, now or not the time, we can come back. Please, I insist. Come. Almost forcefully, the director led us back to the exhibit hall. The director mentioned to a showcase display, ancient document, and an explanatory panel. The panel read, Hebi Miko. Snake of some kind. I never heard of this one. Tidak bisa mengeluarkan ability the Hebi Miko. I never heard of it either. It is a story relating to possession, passed down here on Abual. When one of the Hebi Miko, lion-age, harbors feeling of hatred towards other, the spirit of a snake possess that individual burrowing onto their organs and killing them. Really? That's awful. Long ago, a box washes ashore on the island. From it, countless snakes emerge, infesting home. It said this event is what gave rise to the Hebi Miko's lineage.
なるほど。
I see. Are you satisfied now, Hasumi? We really need to go. We really need to get. However, there is more of the story. The director's expression turned solemn, and he continued. Around 700 years ago, a warlord ruled over this island. However, one day he has defeated in battle. His retrains helped his daughter, the Serpent Princess, flee to the village, on the eastern side of the island. However, the villagers stoned them to death in hopes of currying favor with the new warlord. That's terrible. The people of the village later dedicate a shrine to the Serpent Princess in hopes of calming her spirit. However, the village was soon destroyed by a plague. Some believe this to be the result of her wrath. They moved her wayside shrine near Kunai Retreat, and it is known as Hebi no Miya Shrine. Do you understand? So the Serpent Princess was of the Hebi Miko's lineage, and she used her power to curse the one who killed her. That is precisely what I think. Asumi was listening intently to the director's story. While it was an interesting story, now really wasn't the time. I hope Hatsumi would realize that. Wah, apa nih? Kok kunci? Apa nih? Kok kunci? Really need to go. Alright. Leaving so soon, such a shame. Please, come visit us again. Director smiled broadly as we turned to go. He seemed like a kind man, but at the same time he had a strange air about him. We'd come here 6 days ago too. I still remember hearing the priest explain about the pilgrimage. We split up the research for Hotaru, but there was no sign of her here. We should move. Reggie, I just looked over there. Interesting. So this is how things are done now.
ね
What are you talking about? This is not the time for sightseeing. But all these sacred sites feel so nostalgic. Oh, look at that. Do you know what that means? Reggie turned to watch the pilgrims coming to and going from the temple ground. The writing on that conical hat reads Dogyo Nini. It signifies that Kobodaishi is present with each and every pilgrims along their journey. Hmm? Yes, we already knew that. We've all been here when the monk landed to us.
えも
It doesn't matter right now. We need to find Hotaru. Hatsumi had to drag Reiji by the shirt to get him to leave. Something seems off. What had gotten into him? Had Kiragavilla had been reduced. Burned ruin. The building was surrounded with caution tape. There was no sign of police or anyone else. Waduh, karena friendship level. Iya, karena friendship level. I doubt there was anywhere in the pile of collapsed ruins for anyone to hide.
う
I don't see Otaro anywhere. As I was reminded of inverting Akada Hospital when sneaking into this place. Thinking back, I wonder if Hotaru had come because she wanted to break out of her cramped situation. Locked in her own house. Maybe she felt like her possible future were all so far away. Which is why she decided to join us, despite knowing how dangerous it would be. The thoughts stumbled through my mind as I gazed the burned rumble. Then I caught sight of something. Elderly figures wandered aimlessly nearby. I glanced with almost as if their souls had left their body. Remote. Team have noticed us because they started looking in our direction. It was best to leave quickly. Bener nggak ada di sini. Thinking maybe Hotaru had gone home, we headed to back Hokumyo Temple. Did you find her? Not yet. I see. You seem very anxious. I thought about asking why he wasn't looking too, but it was probably better that someone stay here in case she decided to come home on her own. There's still a lot I don't quite understand. Are you the one who gave us the Yubu water at Onigateki Temple? Yes. Itu dia. Jawabannya. Kok pada kayak mau kena poses gitu? Iya. Nah, itu dia. Why? That's a bit for a long story. I'm not sure where to begin. What do you mean by make Hotaru human? After Hotaru returned to life, I started investigating how it had been possible. In other words, I wanted to know what exactly she was. While researching the Kukai legend, the island, I learned of Ubohoth and the Ubo spawn. Eventually, I came to the conclusion that Hotaru was likely an Ubo spawn. What?
嘘
How is that possible? They are just gray lush. The Ubo spawn are incomplete, short-lived beings. However, I didn't want to lose Hotaru again. An old text explain what that if an Ubo spawn receive the power of Ubohoth, or from Ubohoth, they would no longer be incomplete. She would maintain her human form and live a long life. That's why I need to learn more about this Ubo spawn, and so I joined the Ubo sect. How did it become the? I joined the Ubo sect in the order to learn more about Ubo spawn. Sect of Sect is the group of people trying to resurrect Ubohoth into the real world. In order to do so, they need a sacrifice. That is where I learned a terrifying truth. The ideal sacrifice is an Ubo spawn with intelligence, emotion, and will. In other words, Hotaru. No way. I hadn't intend to tell the Ubo sect about Hotaru. But when I learned of the sacrifice, I was terrified. If they learned what she really was, they would take her from me. Tsunagi. And so I decided to make the first move. I pretend to be a devout follower of Ubohoth by telling them she was a Ubo spawn. I acted the part of a Pisz follower, consumed by the teaching and offering my own daughter as a sacrifice. I promised to raise her until the proper time came. The most man. Yep. And as a father, willing to sacrifice his own daughter by influence within the Yubo sect. That is how I climbed the ranks and became the leader. What is the sacrifice you mentioned? Having become the leader of Yubo sect, I need to find a way to revive Ubohoth without sacrificing Hotaru. There are factions even with the sect, and the radicals insisted we use her to perform the ritual in me. But I convinced them the revival would be incomplete if we didn't wait for proper alignment of the star. In doing so, I managed to postpone sacrificing her. While buying time, I began secretly studying the sect old text, searching for a suitable substitute. Something to sacrifice in Hotaru's place. The answer I found was the curse. What is a curse? We found a history book in the house where Harasho was staying. It mentioned the curse being unable to become devout believers, that they were adversaries of Ubohoth. That's correct. To the sect, the curse are seen as individuals who must be killed immediately. But I discovered that these curses were not unlike Hotaru Ubo spawn that could serve as a sacrifice. No one knew the reason, but on rare occasion, a person who drinks the Ubo water will become a curse. However, by reading the old text, I was able to deduce that these were human. Who possess a certain factor. There are unimaginably horrifying entities that exist in this world apart from Ubohoth and the Ubo spawn. Then there are humans who carry factor of these non-human entities within their own body. The symptom displayed by the curse are the result of these factors rejecting the Ubohoth. So I used the Ubosec followers to help me search for humans who possess one of these factors. More than few of the Ubosec members are healthcare workers. So Akada Hospital serves as their base. Of course, the sect, despite the curse, they agree to help so as to remove them from the picture. The first person I discovered with a factor was a video streamer named Shouta Harama. Really, the chosen one. Yep, the chosen one. I decided to find a way to bring him to the island, but I couldn't very well say, "Hey, come to Abu Island to become a curse." So I had a member who worked at the tourism center fabricate a tour package as a means to lure him here. Once he arrived, I gave him the Yubo water at the Onigateka cave. As planted, he became a curse. Spec was then able to capture him and take him to Akada Hospital. Knowing the curse had special power with the dream realm, I attached a machine to keep him from sleeping. The sack would normally have killed him on the spot, but to me, he could serve as a precious sacrifice. And so, knowing they would find it suspicious, I gave the order to keep him alive as I prepared the ritual. While doing so, however, I discovered two more individuals who possess necessary factor: Hatsumi and Reiji. Enggak. Yang punya factor ternyata Hatsumi sama Reiji. Gue nggak punya. I was unsure whether a single sacrifice would be enough, stated Ubohoth. Terus kenapa gue tuh? Gue ditolongin sama ini ya. Gue ditolongin sama Yukitsune. Makanya gue curse. Damn. Oh, karena gua ditolongin Yukitsune. Kalau misalkan gua nggak ditolongin sama Yukitsune, MC udah mati. Pertama, MC udah jadi Dreamwalker. Kalau nggak di iniin sama Yukitsune. Tapi kan dari awal emang lapar. Cuma kan yang dilihat potensial faktornya Hatsumi sama Reiji, sedangkan MC tidak ada. MC nggak dapat. MC nggak punya faktornya. Dan ketika si KU ngasih, ternyata gue yang minum, kaget karena ternyata gue yang minum. Itu kita seharusnya MC tuh jadi Dreamwalker, bukan jadi curse. Mungkin gitu. Yang ku tangkap gitu ya. I was unsure whether a single sacrifice. And so I determined having at least one more as backup would be prudent. However, as Hatsumi was Hotaru's childhood friend, I couldn't very well turn her into curse, let alone use you as sacrifice. So, I arranged for another invitation package to be sent to you instead, Reiji. I never dreamed the two of you were friends. Then my plan took another turn when I tried to get you to drink the Yubo water. Wait. Oh, oh my god. Cek. Apakah it's alright? It's alright. Halo. Tadi cek. Bentar ya. Ampun. Tadi ternyata eh OBS-ku reconnect. Oke. Instead of you, uh, ketimba apa? Uh, instead of you, Kimura was the one who drank. Alah, Kimura was the one who drank it. I couldn't believe it when you actually turned into a curse. It was completely unexpected. However, I succeed in finding my spare sacrifice. So I am a sacrifice. Bagus. This story keeps getting more and more outrageous. A factor. How selfish. As long as it would save his own daughter, KU hadn't cared what happened to stranger. I barely managed to escape becoming a sacrifice. A chill ran down my spine, a mixture of anger and realization at how close I'd been to losing my life. But what exactly was his factor? So I was the one being targeted all along. If you want us as your backup sacrifice, then why has the Ubohoth been attacking us? We were even shot at. It sure didn't feel like they were trying to catch us alive. That is because the Ubohoth is not entirely united. The radical faction opposed my decision to postpone sacrificing Hotaru. They ignore my order and attack you. In fact, I was worried they would attempt to kill Shota as well. Yeah, that is why I expedited the preparation for the ritual. Parachute. It took years of planning on my part. I was nearly finished when you managed to stop me. However, I'm sure this way also my fate. I love my Hotaru more than anything. So even though I had known he would die eventually, I still couldn't bring myself to accept it. I pleaded with Kobodaishi to bring her back to life. In the end, my wish was granted. I should have been content with that. However, I was consumed with the fear that I might lose her again. The Hotaru who was brought back may not be human, but I still consider her to be my daughter, my precious, perceptible daughter. A heavily silence followed. The man before us who was a cult leader. He was just a father who cared deeply for his daughter. Still, things you've done, I understand. I beg you, please help me find my daughter. He bowed deeply. The fact remains that you were willing to sacrifice Harasho. You have done the same to you and me as well. Eiji's voice was quiet, but it radiated tense anger. We will find Hotaru, but you should think about the severity of what you've done. With nothing left to say, Wei left. Keiyu was still bowing his head. Kabupat. During my third day in the island, I happened to run into Hotaru here. I figured there was a chance she'd return, but the only thing I saw was cloudy sky overhead. This was where we taken picture in front of the windmill. If only I could actually fly, I could leave this island. Otaru, where had you gotten to? Strong wind was causing the windmill to spin fast enough that it looked to be in danger of breaking. Hanya irreplaceable Ubohoth. Mirip dikit dianggap. Hari-hari. The warning signs were bad enough now that even the most clueless of people could see something bad was coming. I had to find Hotaru quickly as possible. There was no sign of Hotaru anywhere. Park felt so lonely, save for a small number of elderly folks that had started to gather. Their steps were unsteady and their eyes were vacant. Something felt off-guard, remote. The ocean waves were growing larger. I could see them hammering the coast of surrounding island. It was the time to try searching somewhere else. Berarti udah semua ya branch. This was where the Mushiokuri festival had been held the night before. Unlike the whimsical atmosphere during the festival, now the treasured rice field simply felt quiet. But was Hotaru here? No sign of Hotaru anywhere. I asked someone of the local farmer as well as tourists here to admire the rice field, but a vast expanse of nature spread out before me. If she really had come into the mountain, finding her was going to provoke incredibly difficult.
No.
From the tale of it, Joe and Hotaru were fighting promise for a festival, right? Yeah, I remember her making promise, but she isn't insist that she never did. That's what we were arguing about. Why? Well, I was just thinking about something you said. He said that when Hotaru got sick for the festival, he never recovered. I remember him saying that as well. So maybe you two really did make that promise. What did you mean? Well, Hotaru died, right? Maybe the shock of being brought back to life affect her memory somehow. I never heard the first-hand account of anyone who died and been brought back to life. But the idea is that it could be cause problem with memory, so that's possible. Si sendiri bikin saudara ya. And what did he mean when he said he was brought back to life anyway? Like, are walking someone rising from the grave like a... Or is her original body still in the ground and the Hotaru we know now came down from the sky or something? I don't know, that wasn't really explained to us. Right, we don't know the details of how exactly he was brought back to life. How can we really say for sure that the Hotaru we met is the same person you were friends with 8 years ago? Well, I don't know. Her dad treated her the same as well, and from that, I've seen she doesn't seem like a different person. But we were kids the last time we... Anybody will have changed after 8. I guess that's true. Maybe I'm just... Reggie seemed to consider to the situation again. The truth was, there was just too much we didn't know about her. We finally got to keep our promise after all this year. Hotaru, where are you? As we walk, we notice a group of elderly people who seem unsteady on their feet. Hari-hari terima kasih. Walking. Feels like they're serious. Terima kasih. We definitely didn't want to deal with them right now, so we decided to leave as oh. Terus di mana kocak? We arrived at Mermaid Road, but Hotaru was already gone. He must have gotten the island high. With a grey ocean wave on the either side, we rushed across the sandbar. Hotaru stood alone on the sandy beach. Her expression was as heavy and cloudy as the sky. Her eyes were filled with hesitation. Tadi kita udah langsung ketemu, Pak. Kurang dipencet lagi tuh. You all heard my dad said, right? I died once before. But it is impossible from the dead come back to life, isn't it? I'm the daughter of the temple, though, so maybe I have some kind of mysterious power. Hotaru made a self-expressing laugh. Her smile, however, was empty but a deep loneliness. What am I exactly? A ghost? A zombie? Something else? I don't think Hatsumi. Am I even human? Hotaru. It is strange, isn't it? If I'm not human, I shouldn't look like one. If I'm not human, then I should just disappear already. Hotaru. Wave crashed against the shore as the wind whipped their hair out. The raging wind, the wave, fell. Hotaru, I didn't know what had died. I'm sorry. How could you have? I didn't even know. Well, to me, at least, you're still Hotaru. It's been 8 years and we've both changed, but I knew you the moment I saw you. Hatsumi smiled wildly as he walked toward Hotaru. I wanted to go to the Mushiokuri festival all this time. Getting to finally walk through the rice fields holding torch with you was so much fun. Hatsumi took Hotaru's hand and squeezed it tightly. I've known you since we were little, and you will always be mine. So, Hatsumi struggled as she researched for the right words. So please don't say you should disappear. Tears spilled down Hatsumi's cheeks. Hotaru moved her lips as if to say something, but it seems it was her turn to be a loss of words. Yes, you can have that. It would be quite troublesome if Miss Hotaru were to disappear. The kitsune suddenly called from behind us. Turning around, we saw him walking across the sandbar, the hem of his black robe fluttering in the wind.
Huh?
What are you doing here? I was wondering the same thing. Alah, ini WA. Ntar guys, ntar ya. Aku matiin notifikasi dulu. Nah, ya. I was wondering the same thing, but I was more curious about what he said. Why would it be troublesome? Hotaru was also looking at Yukitsune in confusion. What is supposed to be mean? This girl is to be a sustenance for Ubohoth. Ah, what are you talking about? Yukitsune's expression was dark, making it difficult to read his true meaning. How do you know Hotaru? What if I were to tell you I am the one who made her? What are you talking about? Yukitsune gave a suggestive smile, but that just made it more difficult to read his true meaning. He suddenly moved to Hotaru's side and pulled her away from Hatsumi's grip. Hotaru and Hatsumi struggled against him, but Yukitsune overpowered them and carried Hotaru away. Reiji and I rushed forward as well, but we weren't fast enough. Quicker than we could react, he recreated a mantra. He recited a mantra and tore open the hole in the map.
さて
Very well. I glanced in our direction. Yukitsune said one final word before disappearing into it with Hotaru. We've been unable to do anything, overwhelmed at how quickly it had all happened. What the hell is with him? We finally found her, and now she's gone? We'd taken Hotaru, and we still had no idea what his real purpose was. We should have taken. Where would he have taken her?
まずいな
We have no idea he plans to do with her either. We need to hurry. I feel like he's about to do something that can be undone. We'll need to think carefully about where to go next. There was no time. We likely only had one chance at this. So we need to choose the right place. Save dulu lah. Save dulu lah. Ya nggak? Save dulu. Ini sih. Ini sih Mount Town sih. There was no sign of Yukitsune.
マジかよ
嘘
Let's go somewhere else. We'll find Hotaru. The sky grown murky gray, making it feel the end of the world was approaching. The raging wind and sea combined with distant thunder caused a sinister atmosphere over the entire island. Suddenly, I heard a rumbling as the ground began to shake beneath me. An earthquake? Yikes, this is a big one. This is no ordinary earthquake. It was more like the footsteps of some unknownable entity approaching. I grew cold the next moment, both the wind and shaking absurdly stopped. I looked toward the sea. The surface was calm, a stark contrast to how it had looked just a moment before. Everything went quiet. The reprieve was short-lived, however. Hey, what? A large ripple was spreading from out a spot out at sea. It moved silently, slowly swelling upward as the surface of the water began turning once more. The gray water grew as it darkened. Ominous waves continued to swell, almost as if some massive creature was rising to the surface. The enormous fluid-like mass looked big enough to swallow the entire island whole, as if the very sea itself were alive. The mass squirmed violently and began moving toward the island. Small island that surrounded the main one had already vanished, followed by the smoke. That is It's Ubohoth. Damn, the ocean's surface now an enormous mass of gray liquid that surged forward. The repulsive form possessed a godly quality beyond human comprehension, filling us with fear and awe. Reiji and Hatsumi just start dumbfounded, all thoughts of escape having disappeared. I heard the screaming begin as the Icelanders were overwhelmed with despair and terror. We have to run. Snapping back to reality, the three of us desperately tried to climb to higher ground, but it was no use. Before the power of the god, we could do nothing as the entire island was swallowed into the gray of the sea of gray. No bad ending. Continue lah. Aduh. Borok kah?
Majika yo.
嘘。
Ah, sama aja guys. Ntar ya. Ya mati juga kita, mati. Continue. Joyo Temple coba ya.
Majika yo.
Alah, sama. Ini udah oke.
Majika yo.
Salah terus ya. Mantap. Gak ada yang benar. Keep Mountain kayak. Ini kali ya? Mountain Kiraga ya? Wait, doesn't going to Mount Kiraga mean we'll have to drive to up that road again? Ah, you're right. The same road we drove up the day before yesterday. The memories of being attacked flooded into my mind. Do you think it's safe now? The people still there, but it still makes me nervous thinking about it. From the sound of it, the experience had been particularly traumatic for Hatsumi. My bad, Augie Wood. Iya loh. Ternyata bukan Augie. Reggie and I had been there, but it made sense that it would be more physically damaging for the driver. Should we head somewhere else then? Well, we don't necessarily have to take the road to get there. There's cable car, remember? We went till late. They used late last time. Still early enough. Come to think of it, we had talked about that. That was certainly an option. Alright, let's take the cable car this time. The Mount and Kiraga cable car, popular tourism attraction, had a beautiful view, sky, sea, and valley. When he leave full, it must be crowded, but the stagnant sky left something to be desired today. Not that we were here to enjoy the scenery though. Boarding the gondola, we realized that we were the only one there. The wind was strong, but not much as the cable car could operate safely. Swaying slightly, the gondola began its ascent up the mountain. We were told the trip was about a kilometer and would take a few minutes to reach the summit.
ね
What do you think, Yukitsune Hotaru? He said there were two necessary steps for reviving Ubohoth. The first was to open the gate that connects our world to the place it lived. The second, provide it with sustenance so it could grow stronger. When we saw him before, he said that Hotaru was that sustenance. Then he kidnapped her and disappeared. Does that mean? I thought he was on our side. Worked so hard, exercised all the useful spawn to stop Ubohoth's revival. I didn't know Yukitsune's reason. Wasn't it possible he was just protecting her from being sacrificed by the Ubosek? I hope that is the case. Both Reggie and I knew that was probably just wishful thinking. Making guess isn't going to get us anywhere. Our only option is go confront him and ask. And if he's changed sides and means to harm Hotaru, well then we would save Hotaru. Even if that meant fighting Yukitsu. Determined, I looked up at the mountain. My eyes were drawn to a large purple mash at the base of the support pillar. Wah! Wah! Ada laba-laba tuh. Wah! Laba-laba tuh. It stood out like a sword hum among the forest of the green below.
No.
What was that? The purple mass was moving. It began slide up toward the pillar. As the gondola moved closer, we were finally able to make out the mysterious purple form. Ibu, apa itu coy? It was an enormous spider. Its legs were thick as iron rods with sharp hook claws at the tips. It seemed to shiver as it climbed. Its many shining black eyes were fixed on us, and it felt as itulah could sense our deep fears. Its sharply pointed jaws looked like a giant pair of steel scissors. The purple hair covering its body, which was nearly the size of the gondola, billowed in the wind. It climbed up on the cable, then rushed toward us with a terrifying burst of Homba hala heya hoa he Tebu. Wah, banyak efeknya nggak ngagetin dia nih, tumben banget. Wah, pantesan. Gameku nggak gue statusin. Malah asik banget deh game. Iya. Where's the purple? Itu gambaran aja untuk mukanya. Dibayangkan biasanya kalau misalkan main Cthulhu, main D&D kan Mainnya membayangkan. Mainnya tuh dibayangin. What the hell is that? A giant spider? Spider grabbed hold on the gondola. Its grotesque underside completely floated out the window. No, I can't. It's gross. Reggie had gone pale and he slumped into a seat as all the strength left his body. Spider raised sharp leg before bringing it down with such force that the entire gondola rattled.
嘘。
What do we do? What do we do? Fortunately, the glass was tempered. The impact had left a crack, but it didn't break. The spider shift, moving on the top of the car. Now, it's what is doing? Terrible scraping sound came from the roof. It like was trying to pry the emergency hatch open. Tergantung masing-masing. Iya, benar. Tergantung imajinasi masing-masing. Cun-cun. Ada. Kalau misalkan kalau misalkan persenan Hatsumi gede ya kita counting Hatsumi. The spider was clearly after us, and it was trying to get inside the gondola. We need to hold hatch shut. Oh, nah ini dia Hatsumi. Kamu ada job untukmu. Ini dia. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's go. I was able to grab it in time. The hatch was holding for now, but it was only a matter of time before the spider found a way inside.
やるしかねえ。
Nah, udah talisman miasmanya menambah luck ini. Hey, what if we tried rocking the gondola enough to knock the spider off? It sounded ridiculous, but we need to figure out something to do, and fast. Trying to hold out until we reached the summit was clearly out. The second we got off the gondola, spider would cut us to ribbons. Hatsumi had her hands full holding the hatch shut, so the two of us would have to be rocking, and the spider was going to find a way to in the moment, so they need to hurry. Two people can shake the cable within 30 seconds. You can shake it off the spider. You have multiple chances to attempt with time limit. Throw our body weight we're gonna rock. God damn it, please. Weh, yang bener aja. Yes. Through our full body weight to the opposite to make the gondola rock even more. Spider was caught off guard by the sudden rocking, and it lost its balance. As the gondola rocked harder, one by one the spider's legs slipped before it plunged into the forest below. The fall must have killed the spider, because we saw no sign of it trying to return. We exit the cable car and followed the mountain path, sense of foreboding growing with every step. I sensed the grey water within me gaining strength, my nausea growing along with it. After a bit of hike, we finally reached the castle ruin at the summit. Set the portal. On the ground of the clearing was a gaping hole about 3 meters wide. Sinister look shape had been drawn all around it. It gave off the same feeling I gotten from the gate that had nearly opened in the world of dreams. It was magic circle. I saw the traditional Iroha ordering of the syllabary scattered about the design. Standing next to the hole were Yukitsune and Hotaru. Hotaru! Hatsumi called out to her, but Hotaru averted her gaze and didn't reply. Her eyes were filled with sad resignation. I glanced down to the hole. At the bottom was an enormous gray mass. It looked to be alive, but it had no clear shape. The writhing mass had an eerie texture, almost as if the ashes of the dead had been given life. Remind me of the gray water I vomited and the Uibo spawn except on the massive scale. An amorphous gray mass split apart. It tried to escape the main body, but was quickly pulled back and swallowed up. The unwilling mass seems to have countless tentacles with appendages and what appeared to be eyes. As one met my gaze, I was overcome with terror. My legs froze, and it felt like I would be drenched. The gray water within me felt like it was swirling violently throughout the entire body. Save!
おや
I am impressed you made this far. Was the spider's welcome not enough to satisfy you?
はあ
You were the one who sent that spider? That was spider from the plateau of Lang. They may look dangerous, but they surprisingly easy to handle. Besides, spiders are supposed to be beneficial, aren't they? They prey on bothersome pests. It sounded as if he was implying that we were the bothersome pests.
そうだね
Well, that does sound accurate to the current
ふ
situation.
ん
What are we going to do? You see, this hole here, it connects this world to a spirit realm. Spirit realm. Take a look and see yourself. What lies below in the great is the great god, Ubohoth, or at least a tiny fraction of it. That thing is Ubohoth. Ubohoth gains power by consumes his own children, the Ubo spawn. The Ubo spawn that were sealed on Abu Island have now all been consumed, reunited at last. Ubohoth will soon return to its full strength. All it requires is now Hotaru. Once she is consumed, Ubohoth will be released upon this world. But why? Why would you do such a thing? I am Kobodaishi, also as known as Kukai. What? Many Ubo spawn were born of Ubohoth, shaped by the strong thoughts and emotion of pilgrims who visited the island. One assumed Kukai's fort. Looks like Reggie feeling was right about the case. Yep. As a result, I decided to save those pilgrims and the people of this island from pain and suffering. At least I did until yesterday. The gate began to open in the world of dream. I realized something. When I was born, Ubohoth tasked me with a role. It was my duty to fit it. Yukitsune gave a self-deprecating laugh. I spent all this time exercising Yubo's spawn, thinking it was to avoid calamity the failing island. However, it was the exact opposite. Action were in fact providing substance sustenance, sustenance to Ubohoth. Why Hotaru? 8 years ago, I met a monk. On a reverse pilgrimage, he lost his daughter. I grant his wish to die having committed a sin. It is common to hear of innocent children dying. However, how wonderful it would be if, as thought it had never happened. That is what I thought. It took the monk's feelings and imbibed them within the Yubo spawn that had been sealed at Hakuno Temple. The Yubo spawn was revived as a being containing all the memories the monk had of his daughter. Rotaro is Yubo spawn. Yap, itu kan dari tadi. So he never actually exercised the Yubo spawn in the exercise. Cuma kayak di exercise sih exercise. Cuma kayak ada yang attach gitu mungkin gimana? Nggak tahu itunya gimana. Precisely. One with the lifespan that is much longer than is typical. And the intelligence, emotion, and will within her. Those are that Ubohoth required to grow more powerful. Until yesterday, I let this Ubo spawn go unharmed. Now, however, I realize this girl will provide Ubohoth with the finest sustenance possible. Why fed it? As you can see, Ubohoth is an enormous mass, breathing countless monsters, only to immediately devour them. Occasionally, however, one is able to escape before being consumed. That is where the Ubo spawn come from. In other words, the Ubo spawn are nothing more than a part of Ubohoth, and feeding is simply returning from whence they came. That is the task appointed to me. What is this magic circle? This magic circle is a spell which strengthens the gate that connects with world to the realm Ubohoth inhabits. The gates themselves are located in many places. However, performing this spell, the gate located here on Mountain Hiraga is most suitable for reviving Ubohoth. This particular magic circle had been imbued with my strong emotion. Not those Yukitsune's psyche. Not those of Yukitsune's psyche, mind you, but the emotion of a noble spawn. Those words Yukitsune spoke were cold as ice, and I understand there was no deception. But knowing something in you, same feeling in your heart. Hotaru isn't just food for some monster donned. Natsumiso. Hotaru had probably been told everything before we would arrive. I felt the resignation in her voice. Wah, I regret it so much for have like ternyata plot twist kan aku bilang kan untung di apa di titel sama di itu kan plot twist plot twist. I've always wondered why I was allowed to live freely and have fun like everyone else. So many times I thought, why me? I never imagined that I was a cheap imitation. I'm not Hotaru. In fact, I'm not even a human. Hotaru.
私だって
So what right do I have to feel human worry or blame others when I didn't even know my own place. Cruel truth of her reality had taken hold of her heart, stripping away her ability to care. And if that is the case, I should just cease to exist. At least surfing as food meant I have a purpose. It sounded as thought she was still trying to convince herself. Let go, Taru. Filled with rage, Hatsumi charged straight at
の動く
Yakitsune.
様んだ
Aduh, mentang-mentang lu ini ya, dia pakai mantra, cok. Yakitsune chanted a quick mantra. As she finished, Hatsumi suddenly froze in place. My body can move.
のうまく様んだ
Another mantra and a flame appeared before him, licking ominously at the air. Masyakala Sahatya Untamalaya. The flame began to whirl. It grew into a raging fireball, then was launched toward Hatsune. Weh, Reggie! Let's go, Reggie! Reggie save the day! Such irony, Rin, Pyo, To, Sha, Kai, Jin, let's Dai, Zen! Suddenly, Reggie stepped forward and formed the nine-hand seal, dispersing Yukitsune's fireball. Let's go, Reggie! But MC game ini bukan Yukitsune loh. Sorry. Reggie, my boy, let's go. An expression of astonishment covered Yukitsune's face at unexpected development. He wasn't the only one, though. Hatsumi, Hotaru, and I were also staring at Reggie in shock at what he has done.
これは
I did not think you capable of such a thing. Have you been feigning ignorance this entire time? Please, excuse this humble servant. I am merely borrowing this boy's body.
厄介な
What are you? Although my body remains in deep meditation on Mountain Koya, it is still quite difficult to send my mind this far. Deep meditation on Mount Koya? You don't mean Kobodaishi? It was Kukai. Wah, Kukai 2. Kukai ada 2. Kukai yang jahat sama Kukai yang baik. Yin and Yang. Are you trying to tell me you are the real Kukai? If there are imposters claiming to be me, then I suppose that would be an apt description. Yes! I entered Reggie's body 3 days ago, and have been waiting for the right moment. It is called Dogyonin. I sensed the disturbance on Agu Island all the way from Mountain Koya, though I had not realized it was this bad. I should have acted sooner. Reggie, what is going on? There is no need to worry. I have merely swapped place with Reggie's temporarily. I didn't quite understand what was happening, but what I did know was that Reggie standing in front of us was not actually Reggie. Now, it's not the Now it's not the time for talking. Let us exercise this evil that calls itself Yukitsune. So I'm an imposter, am I? Ntar ya guys. Wow, malam ini akan menjadi malam yang dingin lagi. Oh my god. Dari kemarin dingin mulu. Be that it may, I still carry the pride of being modeled after the real thing. So even now, standing face to face with the original, it matters not. How so very foolish. As Yukitsune muttered this word, his body began to twist and change. Holy moly. Holy moly. Wow. A mass of gray liquid surged from his back, quickly forming into enormous hand. The fingers twisted in a bend in the wrong place. Sharp nails glinted on the hips. Some hands seemed to be performing mudras, but they gave the impression of souls seeking salvation from hell. While his form evoked image of Buddha statue, there was no sense of divinity emanating from him. On the contrary, his form bled sinister and eerie power. Illuminated by the moon, he bore no resemblance to the Yukitsune we had known. He was not a twisted mockery of the divine, a madness invoking uncleanness personality. Tidak, kurang ini 2. My heart pounded as I made the image of all the nightmares I'd witnessed up until now. World in my head. Madness threatened, covered all reason, and darkness glowed at my heart. I felt myself standing on the edge of the abyss, my sanity slowly slipping away. However, I could not let it end here. I could not afford to fall on to madness, at least not yet. This island, my friend, myself, I had a duty to protect them. Taking a deep breath, I braced myself against Yukitsune's overwhelming presence. Yukitsune transformed, my nausea and dizziness intensified. Unable to bear it, I fell to my knees. Gray, viscous liquid oozed from my pores, forming a muddy puddle on the ground. In a moment of weakness, Yukitsune surged toward me with tremendous speed, his arm raised to strike. This was the next moment would be my last. The gray water performed into a wall in front of me. Akhirnya, powerku bangkit. Did the gray water protect you? Ah, oh. I thought I could not communicate with them. The mind of the gray water, the Ubohoth found with me. I had a fatigued sense of presence that was obeying my own will. How curious. It is almost as if you have a Dogyoninin relationship with the Yugo's power. Perhaps it has resided in your body long enough to form a symbiotic bond, awakening in the presence of Ubohoth. That is quite convenient. It shall serve as your shield. With my spell and Hatsumi's fist, let us exercise this imposter. Please provide us with protection. Let's go! Akhirnya aku mempunyai kekuatan. Aku adalah tanker sejati. What? Oh, right. Fist. At the ready. Let's go. Inilah gunanya HP ya. The talisman Yukitsune had given me, the one inscribed with the Sanskrit for Dainichi Nyorai, grew warm. Grabbing it, I noticed a faint shimmer. I felt a strange power flow into me. It filled me with the sense that I could overcome the threat we face. Willpower has increased. I attempt to speak of the grey water the Ubo's power flowing from me. Please form a wall with protection, my friend. As I did, the liquid actually solidified into a wall. However, I felt my skin crawl at the blasphemous act of communicating with his otherworldly being. Gak bisa bro. I realized the wall would also make it more difficult for my friends to launch attack. Destination mantra. I could feel Kukai's mantra healing our wounds bodies. Get her strength. Asumi controlled her breathing and direct all her attention to watching Yukitsune's movement. She was gathering strength, prepared to attack. Attack strength increased next turn. Okay. A mesh of grey water forms in front of Yukitsune. It sprouts sharp tentacles and leaps forward to attack. A grey wall forms blocking the tentacle. However, the wall crumbles and sweeps onto the ground. I'll need power of the grey water again to block the next attack. The hands of Yukitsune back form a series of mudra, making my sense crawl. Mantap. I attempt to control the grey water flowing for me. It moved freely, as if it was another limb, forming a protective wall in front of my friends. However, I realized that I would also make it more difficult for them to launch attack. Aduh, nggak bisa ya. Mantra lagi nggak apa-apa. Habis ini. Sorry. Habis ini. Kukai and Hatsumi were preparing for launch and attack. Creating a wall would only render their action, so I decided to observe and see how best I could help. Nggak bisa sih. Gue mau attack kok nggak bisa ya? Nggak bisa loh lah. Aku nggak bisa ini. Nah, ini dia. Rin, Pyo, To, Sha, Kai, Chin, Retsu, Zei, Zen. 15 damage Yukitsune, nice. Wah, gagal. Wall dulu. Resonating. Kasih Hatsumi. Kita strength. Make wall lagi nggak apa-apa. Make wall lagi. Sampai Hatsumi darahnya full. Nah. Walah. Ayo, resonating mantra. Mantra. Kita strength. Gak apa-apa Hatsumi, santai. Gak apa-apa Hatsumi. Kita masih bisa. Darah kalian udah full semua kan? Tes Hatsumi. Yes, let's go Hatsumi. 80 damage stats Yukitsune. Master Grip perform from Sprout. Backbill. Waduh, gua yang kena. Mantra. Attack, heal. Attack, heal. Mama makan tuh Yukitsune. Let's go, akhirnya. Yukitsune's bestial roar echoed out over the mountain, piercing my eardrum. Pain, hatred, despair. It felt as if the entire island was blanketed with every navigate emotion imaginable. The very air seemed to vibrate with his pain, threatening to rip my body into pieces. I couldn't move. Seizing his chance, Yukitsune collapsed toward me, bringing his arm down with his full weight. Wah, suaranya tinggi. Reiji, no. Kokai chanted a mantra, creating a barrier. Yukitsune final attack bounced harmlessly off it, unable to reach me. His body began to dissolve back into grey water, his monstrous form melting away. Now all that remains was Yukitsune's original form, collapsed on the ground in front of me. The fallen Yukitsune rose to his knee. His body had returned to his human form. Yoi, Hatsumi penyelamat. 80 damage, bayangin. You are strong, I guess. This man, an imposter such as me, is not a match. Yukitsune, you have lost. Gave up. Gave up? Wataru is the one who should surrender and accept her fate. She is not human. I took Keiyu's memory of his daughter and imbuing them with the Ubohoth spawn I created her. She may look human, but she is nothing more than a child of Ubohoth. It's her fate to return home, be reunited with. You don't get to decide that. Wataru was listening to Yukitsune as he spoke, but her face remained surprisingly calm. Despite not having walked very far, she looked like she was on the final stretch of marathon. She was hunched over and moving slower than a turtle. I'm going to die. I should call my dad and have him bring the car. I didn't think a car was really necessary for such a... Oh, I can't do that. I forgot I snuck out of the house. Snuck out? Maybe her parents were just super strict. Water, I need water. Here's some money. Give and take, remember? She handed me 3 10-yen coin. What could you get just from 30 yen? Maybe she just wasn't thinking clearly. She did look pretty exhausted. Orega omae no 俺の勝ちだ、Yukitsune. I asked if mineral water would be okay, something carbonated. Huh? Do you remember the first time we met? Rude, I was helping after you gotten lost. It's only been a week since then, but it feels like it's been age. Meeting you, getting to see Hatsumi again. I have so many experiences in the past week. Wataru wore a gentle smile, but I could sense the loneliness behind the mask. I was born this way. Not much to explain. I'm pretty sure but I still wonder why me sometimes. I can just go out play whenever I want. I've never left silent. My dad worries too much, and is always keeping me from doing things. Not much available, much being with. No one really to blame. Just Wataru's feeling and her father worries. It's hard to imagine being in either situation. That's why I spend postcards sometimes. Have you heard the Wandering Mailbox? Is the place where the letter without an address go. With about things what I want to do, place I want to see, and my feelings. I mail them. I figure if I can't leave the island myself, I at least send my feeling across the sea. I know it's meaningless, but still. My body was always too weak for me to do anything. Because that, I became selfish. My father, Hatsumi, you know, I've been burdened for so many people. What about the things you still want to do? I remember the letter you mailed. Letter? The one about the things you want to do, places you want to see, and your feelings. You entrusted your feelings to the letter, so they could travel outside the island. Yeah. Let's take one together. I don't mind, but that sounded a little embarrassing. I'm ready. Here I go. 1, 2. Straddling the same broom, we took a breath and jumped in unison. After touching down, I glanced over the bar. The member who offered to take the photographs. He checked he checked the phone, then gave us the big thumbs up. From the looks of it, he was able to get a good one. Thank you for your help. The staff member withdrew, and Hotaru seemed to be in a pretty good mood. I texted her the photo. Thanks, good photo. Hotaru stares down fondly at the picture. If only I could actually fly, and I could leave this island. Her words were quiet, like meant only for her. But she raised her eyes longingly, like. I set that picture as a background on my phone. That was fun. Hotaru's voice grew heavily as she recalled all the fun memories we made. Open a broom and soar through the sky, away over the sea. Gede banget. Nah. You think so? I can use magic to fly though. Hotaru laughed, as if to joke. You didn't need magic when we need ships. More than 10 ferries left from Abu Harbor every day, and that wasn't even the only port on the island. And none of them took more than 2 hours. The island wasn't that far from the mainland. That's not what I meant. But in case you will take me, Kimura. Of course. Do you hate Tatsumi? Hate? That's not so. She can barely take care of herself, but gave her the right to look down on me. She always so oblivious of the situation. The things she blurs out are so annoying. She puts books back out of order, and she can't even wait 2 minutes for cup ramen to cook. I responded some criticism of my own. Asumi easily distracted by food, and when we're in danger, her attitude lacks sense of urgency. Her obliviousness has her saying the most absurd things out the blue, and when such a thing is not Hatsumi's fault. Remember when we just end up bad mouthing Hatsumi? I remember that. Wait, what? Kimura? You were saying about stuff about me? Yeah, well, Hotaru started. And yeah, mau gimana ya? I just got caught out on the flow. I get flustered when I'm back onto the corner. And why was he only upset with me? Hotaru was saying stuff too. We are not talking about Hotaru right now. Apologize for bad mouthing her. But the situation still didn't seem very fair. The only reason we ever had that conversation was Hotaru had been harboring some insecurities when it comes to Hatsumi. She felt trapped, and so she lodged to be more like her, with her carefree and reckless side. But that was also one of the things about Hatsumi that she loved so much. I wish you wouldn't analyze my true feelings right in front of me. Admiration, is it? It is true that Hatsumi has a strong personality. I see no reason to precisely mimic such behavior when you... Reiji... No, is was Kukai right now started to say something about when silent under Hatsumi glares. Hotaru should feel free to do what she wanted as well. It was fine to be like Hatsumi and shake things up. It was then that I learned of the legend of River's pilgrimage. Visiting the sacred site in Rivers, I one would met Kobodaishi. He will grant you wish, hoping against hope. I started my journey. I met him. Actually met Kobodaishi. Kukai granted my wish and brought Hotaru back to life. Told me to look and acted the same as I remember. Even Kukai's power were not enough to bring someone back from the dead completely. She was cold, bitter, no pulse, and her body was even weaker than it. Even so, she was with Hotaru. My dad still stated that you were Hotaru. 8 years ago, Hotaru died. That is an undeniable fact. However, Keiu's feeling toward his daughter, toward you, are genuine. Now those feelings live within you. You are the real Hotaru. As the real Hotaru, you should do what matters with whatever it's you wish to do. Thanks. Kata-kata MC sekali ya. MC emang selalu punya power selain power yang lain. Powernya paling gede. Ceramah. Power of ceramah. It was your kitsune, right? Thank you for creating me. Tareha turned to face Yukitsune. He simply listened silently, his body covered in wound. He wore a puzzled expression at her sudden word. I'm no longer some lost offspring, so I can no longer provide sustenance to this Ubohoth. I'm going to do what I want to do. Voice was filled with determination. In that moment, she chose to shake off her destiny and live her life. Hotaru step up on the edge of the hole and screamed down at the grey sludge beneath. I will not be your food. I am Hotaru Hatsunagi Hotaru. I'm going to attend a university in the city, find a boyfriend, and get scouted to be a model. And I'm going to travel to all haunted spots in Japan with Hasumi. I'm free to do whatever I want. Her word came rushing out, and they were filled with strength to carve out a new destiny. Great tentacles suddenly shot out of the hole, attempting to grab Hotaru and drag her down. However, they never reached her. The hole suddenly snapped closed, severing the end of the flaying tentacles. They fell into the ground in front of Hotaru, dissolving onto liquid and soaking into the dirt. What? You're going to be that resistant. And I have no choice than to close the gate. Yukitsune was forming a seal with his hand. The gate is gone. Connection between this world and Ubohoth's domain has now been severed. Ceramah no jutsu. I took a deep breath, relief washing over me at Yukitsune's word. A wave of nausea slammed into me. Something stirred in my pit of my stomach, and it soon felt like something was lodged at the back of my throat. I couldn't hold it any longer. I vomited, but the liquid expelled wasn't ordinary. It was the same repulsive liquid that I'd seen so many times now. Was it still not over? Had my curse not been broken? I was on the verge of being crushed with despair, but the vicious liquid just kept coming, and as it spilled on the ground, it began to change, quickly losing its dark color and turning transparent. I stood there, stunned at what I was seeing. The clear liquid spread across the ground, vanishing as it was absorbed into the dirt. My nausea gradually subsided, leaving behind only a deep sense of exhaustion. Now that Ubohoth was gone, the curse was be lifted. I felt the truth of it deep down. It would appear your curse has been lifted. I'm glad. Yukitsune. Hotaru gave a shocked cry before running towards Yukitsune. His form had begun melting like the wax of a candle. Ubohoth's influence is no more, so as its offspring, it too will soon disappear. No? You, however, seem to be okay. What? Oh? As Yubo found herself, Hotaru should be unable to maintain her form just like Yukitsune. However, she remained unchanged. It would appear the puppet I created became a real girl. Kitsune. Was I able to protect the life of those who have committed no sin? Those were Yukitsune's final words as he dissolved into clear water and splashed onto the ground. As I attempt onto the observation platform, as a dazzling expanse of blue and white greeted my eyes. A seemingly endless sky and sea stretched out like painting, and a gentle sea breeze caressed my cheek. Reiji, Hatsumi, and I had board ferry from Abu Island back to Takamas.
No.
It's still hard to believe everything what happened was actually real. I nodded in agreement. Spread out before was the same peaceful sight that had greeted us when we first arrived a week ago. Do you think Hotaru will come to see us all? I doubt it. He's been through a lot, remember? Despite her word, I could tell she was searching the gathered crowd. The time to leave had come. The sound of the ship came horn filled the air. We stood together on the deck, each lost in thought. Was it really time to say goodbye to the island? Thought it had been short. Though it had been short, our strange trip felt it like had been much longer. Still, deep in thought, I noticed a familiar figure running toward the ship. Ship, wait! Hotaru ran up to the boarding area. She rested her hand on her legs and was panting hard.
死ぬ
I'm going to die. I knew I should ask my dad to drive. Hotaru? Saudara. He held out a shopping bag toward us. Inside were some cans of carbonated soda. These are only sold on the island. The label on the cans read Abu Island's olive squash. He come all this way to give us this. Hotaru was still trying to catch her breath when a harbor staff asked her to move back from the ship. Sorry. The ferry horn last one more. It slowly began moving away from the dock. Akhirnya aku melihat MC senyum. Akhirnya MC senyum. Dari kemarin-kemarin mana aja senyumnya, bro. Arigato, Hotaru-chan. Thank you too. Arigato na, Hotaru-chan. I watched as Hotaru figure grew smaller and smaller, eventually disappearing from sight. We'll be waiting for you. I watched Abu Island fading into this distance. I opened my soda can and took a sip. 1 year later. I got on to meet my friend at the restaurant.
わけで見てこの動画
Now, Pisz, your eyes on this video. Asumi turned her phone toward us. The awkward video we saw on the screen looked overly exaggerated and questionable at best.
いや、これフェイク動画じゃねえか
That's clearly fake, right?
時間の問題だろ
That's clearly fake, right? Probably only a matter of time before it gets banned. Reggie smiled wryly as he shrugged his shoulder. The video was about people disappearing, just like the old nursery rhyme.
これは行くしかないでしょ
We obviously have to go. I heard of this lullaby before. It supposedly led to some sort of treasure that Tokugawa had hidden.
埋蔵金マジかよそれを先に言えって
Giliran ada hidden treasure. Si kampret ini excited. Walah, kapan jadi kasir bang? Mau jadi kasir. Ntar kalau mau jadi kasir, habis ini. Rasio kayaknya nggak selamat deh. Kan kita kalau misalkan emang selamat, ya kayaknya sih selamat sih, walaupun injured. Hidden treasure, seriously? Why didn't you say sooner?
よし行こう今すぐ行こう
Yoshi, go! Imasugi, go! What are you waiting for? Let's go!
何何の話
Hotaru-chan! Hotaru-chan! Hotaru-chan. Hotaru had gone to get a drink and was just returning carbonated beverage now in hand.
例の動画見せたんだ
I just showed
埋
them
蔵金の村の
the video about the nursery rhyme and the hidden treasure.
ああれね
Oh, that one?
行くのはいつにしよっか二人も来るでしょ
So when are we leaving? I'm assuming you two are coming, right? From the sound of it, Hatsumi and Hotaru had already planned on going. Hotaru had school and had recently started going model work. Did she really have time for this?
大丈夫なんとかするもん
Fine, I'm sure it will work out.
ああやりたいことたくさんあって困っちゃうね
I have so many things I want to do that is becoming a problem. Akhirnya tamat. Game design Makoto Nakamura. Makoto Nakamura. Skenario Makoto Nakamura. Makoto Family. Makoto Family. Akhirnya bertemu emang itu lagi ya, bagus. Ariyuki Ishia, Mayumi Eda, Yuki Tanaka, Yuya Hirose, Hidenobu Koichi. Akhirnya kelar, good ending. Not the best ending, good ending. Kalau best ending kayaknya harus semua itu deh, semua harus smile. Ini apa ya? Ada tanda tanya loh. Oke. Oh my god, ya udahlah. Akhirnya Tulu mitos EDV The Isle of Ubohoth resmi kelar di channel Makoto Hyura, di channel gua. Let's go. Akhirnya dapat good ending, semuanya berjalan dengan lancar. Kecuali itu ya, kecuali Harasho ya. After 12 hour. Tadi ngiranya cuma 5 jam. Emang 12 jam? 12 jam emang. Emang udah 12 jam ya? Mbak, aku mau cek ah. Tar. Mau cek. Emang 12. Yang benar aja. Yang benar 12 jam. Yang benar 12 jam. Oh, ngitung loh. Hitung loh. 4 2 4 2 4. Ya itu 3 4 7 8 9. Iya 12 jam. Buset 12 jam. 12 jam. Wah, GG sih kalau ketulu 12 jam gini. Bener-bener dah. Akhirnya. Oh, di saving tulisannya gitu. Oh, ya ampun. Di saving tulisannya gitu. Berarti ini. Oh iya dong, tuh. 14 jam. 14 jam. Jam. Aduh. 14 jam ternyata. Holy. Gila sih, nggak nyangka sih. Gak nyangka. Ini game bagus. Betul top Marco top. Walaupun mainnya sendiri ya. Dan di akhir-akhir ada turn based-nya. Kayak aneh, kayak apa sih namanya? Kayak D&D. Mau lihat 12 jamnya. Mau lihat 12-nya. 14 jam ya tuh. 14 jam. 14 jam 8 menit. Lebih tepatnya 14 jam. Rate-nya untuk overall 9,5. Overall 9,5. Kenapa nggak 10? Karena plot twistnya ketebak. Atau plot twistnya pasti ketebak. Udah ketebak di awal, bisa ketebak di awal. Sama top 3 plot twist. Top 3 plot twist. Top 3 plot twistnya Reggie satu, terus si apa sih namanya, si bapaknya, sama si ini Kitsune. Tiga top plot twist itu 3 top plot twist di game ini. Ya 9,5 overall. Kalau mau 10 plot twistnya tambahin lagi. Kalau mau 10 plot twistnya tambahin lagi. Nggak taunya MC dari awal jahat gitu. Itu baru plot twist. GG kelar, akhirnya aku bisa istirahat dengan ketulu mitos ini. Next game kita apa ya? Ntar aku cari lagi lah ya. Aku cari game yang bagus untuk streaming lagi. And so, jangan lupa like, comment, subscribe, and share ke teman-teman kalian. Akhirnya signing out. Otsukare sama desa. Thank you ketulu mitos the Isle of the Ubohoth. And see you guys soon in the next live stream. Tapi pada akhirnya kita nggak ya benar. Benar sekali. And see you guys in the next live stream. Otsukare sama deshita. Bye bye. Otsukare sama sa. Otsukare. Sampai jumpa besok. Besok akan ada game baru lagi. Bye. Thanks for watching.